Alright, let's start with Unit 4. So in Unit 4, we are learning about data-driven testing using Apache POI and its application in Selenium automation. It's recording, right? So data-driven testing. So data-driven testing we already discussed. It's about testing the data from the Excel sheet. So in an Excel sheet, we can have a lot of data about different users, their credentials, their username and password. So we can take the data from this Excel sheet and we can use the Selenium to read from that and we can do the testing. That is what in short about data-driven testing. Okay. So data-driven testing is a technique in which same test case is executed multiple times using different sets of input data. So the example is multiple credentials of multiple users. So the test data is stored externally like Excel, making test more flexible. Okay, so what we call it as Apache POI. What is Apache POI? POI stands for Poor Obfuscation Implementation. It is a Java library. It used to read and write data from Microsoft Excel files. Okay, so that is what Apache POI. So data-driven testing using Apache POI. So we are doing data-driven testing with the help of Apache POI. What is it? Poor obfuscation implementation. The reason why we call poor obfuscation is because we don't want the users to see the details. So just like a Java class file, we cannot read it. It is in a different format, right? So that is what Apache poor obfuscation. We intentionally make the file not readable so that nobody can manipulate it. So that is what Apache POI. So how does the data-driven testing works? So this is the key points. Store test data in an Excel file, and our Apache POI will read the data, and this data will be given to the Selenium test scripts, and then the test script will be executing multiple tests. Okay, but that is same test for multiple inputs. So see this small Selenium code here. You can see what is happening in this code. We are importing the file input stream. We are importing Apache POI header files. Okay, these are all the header files. Try to remember it. So since we have an Excel sheet, so Excel sheet you can see data.xlc. XLSX is the extension for Excel files. So we are importing this Excel sheet with the help of file input stream. Okay. Now we know that Excel sheet we have workbooks, right? In an Excel sheet we can have multiple workbooks. So that is what we are selecting the workbook, and we have WB variable of workbook type. Okay, and inside that workbook with sheet, we know that in an Excel file we can have multiple sheets. So for a reference, I'll just show you one Excel sheet. So this is Excel. So we can see a blank workbook. So by default, we call this entire thing as blank workbook. And in this workbook, we can have multiple Excel sheets that we can create. Okay, so in this, if we have data here, for example, we have data stored in the form of rows here. I need to tell the Selenium to fetch the data from this particular row. So now in this row, I can have username and password store. Okay, so Selenium is going to fetch the data from here, take username and password fields in two-dimensional array, and Selenium will check it for the testing purpose. So that is what we are doing here. So we have the name of the Excel sheet is data.xlxs. So the sheet name is sheet 1. Okay, so we got the data now. So from the sheet we are taking the string values. Okay, so in Excel we have row 0, cell 0, and from that we are getting the value. So it could be the username of a particular user. In row 0 we have a username of a person, and likewise in each rows we can have different usernames. So we are fetching the username individually. Okay, similarly we are fetching the password individually from the Excel sheet. Okay, and then see, we can see that same username and password it is being sent by the Selenium. Okay, now the Selenium will use this username and password and check the web application and click on login and check whether the credentials are correct or not. The same explanation is here. Apache reads the username part of the Excel. Selenium uses these values to perform actions. Okay, the same test run multiple times using different rows of data. So what is the application for this? Test login functionality with multiple users possible. Form validation with different. So wherever we need different inputs, we can store an Excel sheet and we can let the Selenium extract it and do it. So that is what about your data-driven testing using Apache POI. Next we have is cross-browser testing. What is cross-browser testing? We know that the Selenium will test our applications not just in Chrome. We want to test our application in another browsers like Safari, Edge and Firefox. So that is possible. So that is what cross-browser testing. Why we need to do cross-browser testing? Because different browsers uses different rendering engines. Okay, so we have our applications can be used by different users of different browsers. Okay, so they should not face any difficulty. The user who is using Google Chrome should not face any difficulty. Google users using Firefox, they should not face any difficulty. So because they use different rendering engines, we have to check in each of these browsers. So that is the concept. So you can see the example here. A login page works correctly in Chrome but fails in Firefox due to layout or script issues. So once we check with different browsers, the defect can be identified and we can rectify it. So that is what cross-browser testing. What are the advantages? It improves user experience, wider compatibility, increase application reliability. The disadvantage is there, yes, it is time consuming and we need to set up browsers separately in our Selenium. Okay, so that is done. Next topic is distributed testing. What is distributed testing? You can see the diagram here. We have a Selenium hub and our test cases are running in multiple nodes. Okay, as you can see here, multiple nodes, and each of this node is going for different operating systems, Ubuntu, Windows, Safari. So that is what distributed testing. So distributed testing is a testing approach where test cases are executed on multiple machines as well as multiple browsers. So that is why you can see in this diagram, multiple machines and multiple browsers are also there. Okay, so you can see it is Firefox on node 1, in IE on node 2, and on node 3 we have Safari likewise. So tools use, which tool we are using Selenium Grid. Okay, so it allows running same browser test cases on multiple system. Okay, same thing it does return. What are the components here? So you can see the diagram for the components. So we have Selenium running in the first stage, and then we have Selenium hub and Selenium nodes. Okay, so hub is the central server that controls test execution. It receives the test results, test requests from the Selenium. Okay, that is our Eclipse. Wherever our Selenium is running, the hub will receive it. Okay, now hub will move it towards the nodes. You can see the nodes are there. Each of the nodes are belonging to Windows, Apple and Safari, and each of these nodes is also being checked for different browsers, as you see in the diagram. So machines where tests are actually executed can have different browsers and operating systems. So we have Selenium hub and Selenium node. Hope that is clear. Next is working. Okay, you can see test scripts are sent to the hub. Okay, that is Selenium hub. Hub assigns to the available nodes. Nodes execute tests in parallel and return results. What are the benefits here? So this is what we calling it as, the concept is distributed testing, right? So distributed testing, we are using Selenium Grid. The Selenium Grid, we have learned about Selenium Grid. It is all the reason why we call it as parallel testing is possible. Okay, Selenium Grid. Next, faster execution, support parallel testing, save times in large scale projects, allow testing on multiple browsers and operating system. What are the disadvantages? See, parallel testing is not that easy. It is a complex setup and it needs a lot of configuration, requires multiple machines and environments. Okay, going to the next topic, continuous integration. Continuous integration means, see, we are not going to test everything individually. Now things is all about automation. Okay, so whenever our project is already being tested, any new code or any new model is being added, that model alone needs to be separately tested and it has to be built and run. Okay, so there is a pipeline, we call it as continuous integration. It is a kind of automation. So when we talk about it, we have different tools, that is Jenkins, Maven and Git. So how all the tools are playing together. So let's see the definition. Continuous integration is a software development practice where code changes. Okay, code changes are automatically built. Okay, so when we say automatic build, it means that the code is running. Built means the code is now in a running stage and it is tested whenever they are committed to the repository. Means it's a common place where our project source code is being stored. Okay, so meaning it ensures the testing is performed automatically whenever new code is added. Okay, so for large project we are not going to test again and again, only the new code is being tested. So see, what is Jenkins actually? Jenkins automates, build and test. So Jenkins is responsible for automatically building the new code and test execution. Maven dependencies we have learned, we have practiced in the lab. So Maven dependencies is responsible for downloading all the jar files and running the test. What is Git? Git, you might have heard about it, GitHub. So it will store and manage source code. Okay. So how this Jenkins, Mavs and Git is working together? You see this diagram now. So in this diagram we have the developer is committing the code. Okay, it comes to the Git repository, and from the Git repository what happens, Jenkins server will build the code. Okay, so this particular steps is explained here, so we'll better go through that particular steps. Okay, so first the step is developer pushes the code to the Git repository. Okay, once it comes to the repository, the Jenkins will automatically detect the change. That is, the new code will be identified and triggers a build. Okay, Maven builds the project. So Maven will build the project and execute the tests. Okay, test results are generated and reported. These are the steps. So in detail, you can read about it. What are the steps? In step 1, developer pushes the code to the Git repository, and developer writes the test scripts or application code. Code is committed and pushed to a remote repository, that is GitHub. Each push represents a new version of the code. Okay, so that is what happens whenever new module is being developed and we need to test it. So this is what continuous integration. First step is developer pushes to the Git repository. So once it is moved to the Git repository, immediately Jenkins, you see the logo for Jenkins detects the changes and triggers the build. Okay, so Jenkins is something that is continuously monitoring the Git repository. So once it detects a new commit, Jenkins automatically starts the build job. Okay, so the job is configured using Jenkins pipeline. So what are the pipeline stages? You can see checkout code, build it, test and report it. So that is what step 2. In step 3 we have our Maven. Maven will download all the dependencies, all the libraries, drivers, plugin, everything. Maven will build all the things that is required to run the new code. The Maven will provide the libraries. It will compile the source code. Okay, execute, build the lifecycle phase, like clean, remove the old files. Okay, so when you have new code, you have to remove the old configurations, compile code, test everything. The Maven will do it. So then once the code is being built, we have to test it. So real execution of Selenium test happens in the step 4. Selenium WebDriver test scripts are executed automatically. Tests may include, what are the different types of tests that we have learned? Functional testing, regression testing, all kind of testing will happen here. Okay, so after the testing, what happens? The test results will be generated. Okay, so we have a TestNG framework, right? That we have used that generates the report. So in the report we have these details: pass test, failed test, execution time, error log. So that is about and the last step is reporting and feedback. So whatever happens with our continuous integration, in the final step, the Jenkins will display the results on the dashboard. Report can be enhanced using tools like, see, these are some reporting related terms. Okay, also the Jenkins will notify you with the email, okay, with whatever update has happened. Last is continuous cycle. So this process will keep on repeating, okay, until and unless a new code change has been triggered. So ensures continuous testing and quick feedback. You can see it is a continuous process of testing and quick feedback. So it is an automation example, continuous integration, where Jenkins and what else is there? Jenkins, Maven and Git, they all play together. So apart from that, advantages and disadvantages: early detection of bugs, save text by automatic testing, improve code quality. What are the disadvantages? See, it is not easy to have continuous integration together, so initial setup is complicated. We need a lot of proper tools and we need a lot of integration. So that is about your continuous integration. It's important. Let's move to the next topic. Next topic is about behavioral driven development using Cucumber. See, now testing is something we expect everybody to understand. Okay, so we don't want a lot of knowledge to understand what is happening in the testing. So behavioral development using Cucumber helps you to understand what is actually happening in the testing in a plain English format. okay, in the natural language format. So for that, what we are having Cucumber. So Cucumber is a behavior development tool which we help us to write and execute test cases in a human readable format. Okay, and this format we have a language called Gherkin language to describe the application behavior. That is how the testing is happening. That flow we can explain in the form of Gherkin language. So the Gherkin language has these keywords: feature, scenario, given, when, and then. Okay, these all are the keywords that we have to use it. So see this example now. So we call it as feature file. Okay, so Cucumber helps you to write the feature file. So these feature files are directly related to your Java code. Okay, that we will see. So the feature file, what is the name of the feature file? It is login functionality. What is the scenario? We are checking the login validity. So we are using all these keywords as you can see here. So given, what is given? User is on the login page. So now the user is on the login page. When means user enters valid username and password. Then user should log in successfully. Now this particular information anybody can see and understand. Okay, so if anybody want to see what is the code associated for given, what is the code Java code associated for when, that they can check it. Okay, so that is what happens in your feature file. Sorry, we call it as step definition. So this is feature file, and and these steps we need to have check the definition. So this is the explanation of keywords. Okay, that we have already seen. Now see the step definition, how step definition. So for given, now this given is directly related to your feature file, which is here. Given, what is happening in the given? User is on the login page. So you will see the Java code for that. See, this is a method open login page, code to open page. Then when, so what is when? So in feature file, when means user enters valid username and password. So you will see a Java code associated for that. You can see there is a method enter credentials and code to enter data. So see, for the exam also you don't have to write the complete code. You can write the the part in the form of comments. Okay, the comment has to be meaningful, just like this. So you are writing a code where users will provide username and password. Again, you see it is an annotation. Then, so then means what? Then means user should log in successfully. So you will write a certain code where we have a method in which we have a comment validation of the code. So this is what a complicated Java code, okay, is tagged with some annotation that is given when and then, which is a part of your Gherkin language. So that is what Cucumber. What is Cucumber? It is a BDD tool used to write and execute test cases in human readable format. Okay, and what is BDD? Where tests are written in simple and natural language, so the developers, testers, and non-technical stakeholders can understand them easily. Okay, so that is what a provision that we are given for non-technical people to understand what is it. So steps are written here. How BDD works with Cucumber. So first we will write the scenarios in feature file as we have seen. Then we will have the step definition Java, and then we will execute using Cucumber run now. Okay, so this is the main part, and finally we have results are generated as reports. So that is about your BDD and Cucumber. These all topics are completely theoretical in nature. This one, emerging trends in test automation. So finally we are learning about in test automation what are the emerging trends. Okay, so when we talk about emerging trends, we know that most of the users are using mobile phone. Even if it is a website, people try to use mobile phone, right? So mobile testing is very important. So mobile application testing. Okay, so mobile application testing, we are using Appium. What is Appium? Appium is an open source automation tool. It is a free open source automation tool, okay, where we can test we can do mobile testing. So we know that mobile application run in Android, iOS, and Windows mobile, and we can have testing applications like WhatsApp, Instagram, Amazon. All these applications we can test across these mobile operating systems. Now when we talk about mobile testing, mobile application testing, Appium is important. Appium is an open source automation tool for testing purpose. So the testers can automate three different types of application. One is native application. Native application means the application that is only available on Android, and the application that is only available on iOS. Next we have hybrid application. That means the application that can be available in both Android and iOS. Next, finally, we have mobile web application, right? So the mobile web, so these are three types of application that we can test or automate. So Appium supports these programming languages: Java, Python, JavaScript, Ruby. These are all languages it supports. We are learning in Java now. So Appium supports all of the things. Why we're talking about Appium? Because it is open source. It supports multiple programming languages. We can reuse Selenium WebDriver knowledge. So what is it? A single test script can be used to test same app on multiple devices. So that is what about the Appium. So Appium architecture is not there in the syllabus, but you see the Appium, how does the Appium architecture works. So in Appium architecture we have Appium client. So obviously in client side we are the clients. We can use all this programming language to understand to write the test script. Then we have JSON where we know what JSON where is responsible for converting your commands into HTTP request. Now HTTP request will come to the Appium server. Okay, now Appium server is what actually talking to your mobile devices, whether it is Android, iOS, it is what testing. So we'll see about it. We have UI automator, we call Selendroid. We have UI automation for iOS, we call the XUI test. For Windows, nowadays Windows mobile phones are not there, but see Windows app we have shown here. So Appium client. So we'll discuss the component individually. Appium client. Appium client is where automation test script is written. Already we discussed everything. A tester will write the script, okay, to open the mobile app, to provide username and password and login button. Now this is a simple example where the client is, that is us, we are writing the test script. Okay, so we'll write the test script. That is the first step. What does the next part do? JSON wire. JSON wire is a communication method between Appium client and server, right? So we have Appium client here and server. In between we have JSON protocol. So it converts a test command into HTTP request. We already know about it. So that is what JSON wire protocol. JSON wire protocol. Then finally we have Appium server. In the end, it is the central component of the architecture. Now this is the important part. Appium server. Okay, Appium server, they understand the mobile platform. So it receives the test command from the client, process the command, send them to the appropriate mobile automation tool. Okay, so what are these automation tool? So we have different automation tools that is platform specific. For Android we have UI automator. For that is Selendroid. iOS we have XUI test. For Windows we have in-app driver. Same thing, that is platform specific. What we call it as platform specific automation tools. Okay, these are all the name of the platform automation tools. All right. So finally we have in the last part of the component we have this. We call it as emulator or the mobile phone. See, now as a tester, either we can have an iOS device along with us to test it, or we can have an emulator. Okay, emulator, it is like, you have your mobile phone completely on your computer itself, and you can check and test it. You don't need an external mobile phone to test it. We can use emulator. So finally, all the commands, okay, whatever we have written in the test script, it will come from the Appium server, and the mobile device will execute it. So automatically it will execute. It will open the app, it will click the button, enter the test, it verify the results. So we need to have either a mobile device or an emulator to check the mobile device for the testing purpose. Okay, so the mobile will automatically run. It will open the website, it will click, okay, and it will finally give you the result. Okay, a simple flow is given. Tester write the Java code, script sent to the Appium driver. It's okay, same thing it is repeated here, so you can write in different form. Okay, simple flow. So this is how the Appium server is working. So at the end, the result is returned to the server. Again, see the same diagram, in a descriptive way it is explained. Same thing which we have discussed is explained here. Okay, so either you can write like this, or either you can write in the form of steps. Okay. Next, after this, what we have to learn is Appium architecture. Okay, all these are same thing that we have discussed. Next is AI. Okay, now when we talk about software testing and automation, okay, AI, artificial intelligence is a part of now. So now when we talk about artificial intelligence, lot of workload is now taken care by the AI. So that is what we're talking about here. And when it comes to testing, artificial intelligence is a test that refers to use of machine learning and intelligence algorithm. So we need to check how AI is coming into picture when it comes to testing. First is self-healing test. Okay, self-healing test means if anything is broken, for example, as a client we are writing test script, if anything is broken over there, the AI will automatically fix it. Okay, any UI elements is changed, that AI can detect it and make it corrected. So if a button ID changes from login button to, so name of the button is login button, if it changes to sign in button, so the AI updater updates the locator automatically, so we don't have to manually go to that locator and change it. AI can do it for us. So that is the first use case, self-healing test. Next is smart test case generation. See, as a tester, we are supposed to create test cases, right? And better test cases will help you to identify better bugs and defects. So we as a human have restriction, but AI can have endless possibilities, so it can generate test cases, okay, on user behavior. So AI can help us in having test cases. So AI analyzes login pattern, okay, generate multiple test scenarios. So it can generate multiple scenarios based on the patterns, because AI has already tested many applications, many in multiple devices. So AI knows the pattern. So AI can help you in test case generation. Next is predictive analysis. Identify high risk areas in the application. Identify high risk areas in the application means, see, predictive analysis. So it will be able to prioritize test. Okay, AI predicts that payment model has higher failure probability. So wherever we have more test cases, wherever it is failing, okay, AI can help you in predicting things. Okay, which test cases have higher risk, which test cases have lower risk. Okay, so that is what helps in prioritizing the testing. So when we have multiple test cases, we need to prioritize the test. So this prioritizing can be helpful with the help of AI. Visual testing. So visual testing, see, we can have, see, when we talk about a computer screen, there are a lot of graphics. So we as a human, we cannot do pixel by pixel, we cannot check it, but AI can check pixel by pixel. So for example, there is a design flaw. Okay, the web element is not correctly placed. So maybe our naked eyes cannot find it, but AI can understand it pixel by pixel. Okay, so you can see the example. A button is misaligned after UI update. Test optimization. Okay, so test optimization means we don't have to run thousands of test cases every time. Okay, or if we have the proper test cases selected, and then only those test cases needs to be run, so we can save a lot of time, improve test execution. That is what test optimization. Popular AI testing tools. You can see these are the popular AI testing tools. Teslim, Mabla, Functionizing, all these are testing tools. You can read about it. Okay, so that is what about AI. You can read about it.